don't want to die with a dick on my face.
Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome in once again. Today we're going to be taking a look at two knives from TW Price Design, and that is going to be the upcoming Reyne, which is an entirely brand new model, and the Dawn V2, the version 2 of the Dawn that was so popular it screamed for a sequel. And yeah, take a look at this. Patterns. This kid has such an eye for beautiful patterns that honestly, the knife could have small issues with them, and I think people would still love the knives regardless because of the beauty and the, honestly, simplicity in the which he's designed them. They look fantastic. Now, if you haven't seen my video on the original Dawn, please go check it out. I will put a link, a card at the end of this video that you can simply click and it will take you straight to it. The Dawn, as I had mentioned before in that video, I think is the flicker equivalent to a Sebenza. It is that good. Now, I'm not one of those people that goes, oh, this is the next Sebenza killer and all that shit, but I think it compares favorably to a Sebenza in the way that it feels in the hand. It's actually a little bit more ergonomic. I prefer the feeling of this over a Sebenza, and I've always been a huge Sebenza fan. And it's got the deployment methods that a Sebenza is never going to have. So you've got the front flipper, and as much as I hate front flippers, this actually flips really nicely and really easily. And then you have that fuller, that little channel right there that allows you to flick it from the rear. Beautiful hand rub satin, great titanium liner lock, great design all the way around, feels truly fantastic in the hand, and it's a great cutter. Nice pocket clip. It's simple, but it's nice. It works well. Now, let's take a look at the new Reyne. This is something wildly new. As a matter of fact, I can't actually give you any specs beyond what I'm able to measure because this is just in prototype stage. These technically don't exist yet. The Dawn V2 is just a new version of the Dawn. Some little tiny upgrades, some different color variations and finishes and whatnot, but it will fall in line with the same specifications that the original Dawn did. This is an all-new knife, and it's a lot less fancy looking. I don't know if there are going to be different finish options for the blades and different finish options in the titanium frame and maybe anodized options. I truly do not know. What I will do is I'm going to scour through his Instagram and try to condense as much information about this knife in text somewhere on the screen here that I can, because it's the only info available. His website is completely bare. He has a couple of clip and hardware kits that are anodized or Damascus, I think, and no information whatsoever on the Dawn V2 or on the new Reyne. Okay, so here are the changes from prototype to production on the Reyne. The size will increase to 8¼ inches with a 3.6-inch blade instead of a 3.5-inch blade. The blade stock will be increased to 125 thou from the current 118 thou. The inset tab lock will be changed to titanium liner with a steel insert instead of a one-piece insert that we had there. The scales are going to be a little bit thicker to accommodate that thicker insert. The bevel is going to be changed to have less of a radius. And the sharpening choil will be increased, so the plunge ends before the edge. That was a big deal to me earlier as well. Flipper tab is going to have a little bit of changes, and the primary finger position as well. So let's focus a little bit on the Reyne here in the beginning, and I'll do my my little TLDW on this. Pros. It's a nice big size. This is much more of a full-size EDC knife than the Dawn. The Dawn is much more compact, while this is slim because it is a slab-sided titanium frame. It's a much larger blade, much larger overall, so I like the size. Another thing that I like, the action is good. It's not amazing, but also this is a prototype, and also this is not broken in. And already, as you see, it drops really nicely. And again, drop shutty shit has nothing to do with the quality of a knife. I need to stress this every few videos because people see us doing this and go, oh, he's saying that because the drop shuts is great. I can just loosen my pivot and mine will do that. No. I'm having to give you a visual representation, since you're not here to touch the knife, to understand how smooth the action really is. And it is. It could use a snappier detent. The detent is perfectly fine. The blade's not going anywhere, and I've yet to really fail it. It's not that it's too light of a detent. It's that there's something about this that I just want it to be a little bit faster. That's all. So a little bit of feedback there, but it's not a big deal whatsoever. Now, what you have here, let's see if we can get some focus in here, is an inset tab lock. It's not an actual liner lock. I don't have any liner locks out here next to me, but a liner lock will have the lock. That liner will actually go the entire length of the frame, and you'll see the titanium scale on top of that that liner. This is an inset tab lock, so it's actually a separate piece. This is obviously steel, so you have steel and steel lockup, and that is screwed into the inside of the frame. So it's a little trickier, I believe, to get a really strong detent on there, because you're not dealing with the tension that you would obviously on a frame lock. Let's bring out a frame lock here real fast. And you're not dealing with even the tension you're able to build with a titanium, with a regular liner lock. So yeah, I wish it could be a tad stronger, but it's nothing to complain about at all. Other pros, he's still using that wonderful flat-faced radial satin pivot. Very, very sexy looking. I think it's a nice addition to all of his designs. You've also got the pivot collars there. So I believe there's going to be pivot collar options in different anno colors and materials like Damascus. Another pro while we're here is the jimping on the flipper tab and the jimping on the liner lock. I would just call it the lock. Makes both very, very easy to use. And very good jimping on the spine of the blade. heading up into the harpoon, which serves obviously as a good thumb stop, a good thumb rest. The ergonomics of the frame are nice, fairly neutral, with only this section here relieved to, I guess, more easily put your hand in place and get your finger behind the flipper tab to use as a finger guard. I'm not a huge fan of the choil. It's halfway in between a sharpening choil and a finger choil. It's too small to be a finger choil, too big really to be a sharpening choil. And you'll notice that they swept the plunges in, which is beautiful. It may cause some people aggravation if they haven't realized yet to strop instead of immediately going straight to material removal and resharpening. If you're stropping your blades constantly, it's going to be a long time before you actually have to sharpen any of these blades. But when you do get to that point, probably years down the road, you're going to carve a little smiley right back here because it's a little thick at the heel of the edge, but it's not a big deal at all. Another plus, I really love the Fuller groove, and I love his very simple and elegant maker's mark. Very cleanly done. Nice stone wash on this. As you see, somebody has used this to cut things already. I haven't bothered to clean this yet. I haven't done the photography yet. And I love the blade shape. It's very useful for EDC. Pocket clip is another pro. Great retention, perfect ramp, easy to get over thick jean pocket seams, or pocket lips, I should say. Works very, very well. This goes with the design of the knife. It looks nice. It's also blind screwed, so the screw is from the inside out, so there's no exposed hardware for the pocket clip. All you have is this body screw back here that holds in the raised gear pattern backspacer and the pivot. That's it. So you have two pieces of hardware. So it's a nice, clean design that is pretty uninterrupted. I like the pattern, not only because it looks cool, but it feels nice as well. It's not, like a cheese grater or anything, but it does feel like it gives you a little bit of additional purchase. Okay, cons. Again, really just back to kind of wish it was a sharper detent, but because it doesn't interfere at all with the action of the knife, because it works, it's perfectly serviceable, it's kind of hard to call it a con, to be perfectly honest with you. Any other cons? No, that's it. I think it's a little bit basic, the overall design, as compared to the Dawn. Now, while the Dawn is a simplistic design, it's not a basic design. There's something very elegant about this. There's something very practical and useful about it. This is more of a tactical style knife with the harpoon and all the little things that are going on there, the way the grind is done. It kind of has more of a tactical feel more than an EDC feel. And that's going to appeal to a huge amount of people. But I find the Dawn to be a more exciting design, to put it as honestly as I possibly can. Now, let's focus a little bit on the Dawn, because the last time I brought a Dawn out to you, it was the black frame. I want to say it was the stonewash blade. I'm having a hard time remembering exactly. And I really, really liked it. This is kind of a medium blue, almost a light blue, with the hand rub satin blade. Let me see if I can get it to focus on the blade and zoom in. Very nice hand rub satin. They spent some time doing these and perfecting them and getting them right. Excuse me for 1 second while I just wipe down the blade. Okay. I mean, just look how perfectly that's been done. And they paid attention to doing the swedge and the primary bevel separately. There's no rolling over where that line has been softened. It's got nice definition. The plunges are done beautifully. Really, really nicely done. There's a great degree of craftsmanship here that I have to appreciate for the low price that these are. Again, that pocket clip, it looks like a very basic pocket clip, but it is a full sculpted titanium pocket clip that is blind screwed. You know, they could have gone the easy route and just done like a wire clip or something, and I'm so glad they didn't. You see all of the intense milled pocketing that's been done inside the frame to reduce the weight. There again, inset tab lock, you see where it's affixed within the titanium frame. And instead of having a back spacer like the Reyne, here you have two standoffs. Honestly, this is probably one of my favorite knives that debuted last year. It did make it into my top knives of 2022, even though I didn't have it in my possession at the time. It is fan-friggin-tastic. I'm having a hard time deciding whether I like this combination more than the black that I had picked out. It's hard to say because it's such a unique color. You really don't. It's not really a baby blue. It's not a sky blue. It's a steely blue, a Pacific blue, possibly. I just love the feel of these. I love the shape of these. And honestly, it's been a couple of months since I've handled one, about 4 months now, I guess. And now it reminds me of how much I love this design. And I love that kind of seashell pattern that's going through the titanium frame. It catches light. The light dances across it. It really is, like I said, it's a simple, but it's a beautiful, beautiful design. And there's something to be said for holding yourself back as a designer and creating something simple and refined and spending the time on the details and the finishing instead of worrying about how much extra shit you can bolt onto there and mill into there and all that kind of goofy shit. Can I do this, lefty? Oh, yeah. Oh. By the way, ceramic bearings on both knives, ceramic detent on both knives. Utterly fantastic. God. All right, maybe I'm going to change my mind on the variation that I want. Because I had my heart set on the black. There was something about that black, the way that it caught the light with this milled pattern. But I don't know. The more I look at this blue, I look across my collection and go, I don't have anything like that. I think this blue may end up being very, very popular for that exact reason. One, yeah, it's handsome. But two, I don't think very many people have this particular color in their collection and other knives. Pretty cool. All right, guys. I'm going to cut it short with that and put them both back in frame real quick. You decide which you like the best. Follow TW Price Design on Instagram so that you get notifications of when the Reyne is going to be debuting and when the Dawn V2s will be shipping. Because I know that the knives are done. He was having a supply issue with the packaging, and there are updates coming throughout on there. If I see it as I'm editing this video, I will put it up here somewhere to let you guys know. But definitely follow him on Instagram so that you know what's going on. As with most brands, when they do a drop like this or they do a pre-order, this was a pre-order item, they're most likely going to have extras. So wouldn't hurt to send him a message and say, hey, I saw the video on the V2 Dawn and I really, really dig it. If you get an extra one that you're going to make available for sale, please keep me in mind. It might be a good idea because I'll tell you right now, this will be one of your most carried knives, period. If you want something classic that's modern, this is a good way to go. Now, if you're looking for something tactical, that might be the way to go. Either way, I think they're both winners. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.